What's up, you guys? It's your boy Miguel here to give you your daily dose of radiation. In today's video, we are covering how the positioning class, the lab, and all that stuff works in the Xray Tech School. So to give you context, I am a night shift Xray Technologist. This camera real quick. And I've been doing it for 4 years, and I would say, so essentially in our school, I've been out of school for 4 years. You would essentially go to class in the morning, and during your first semester, you would get put into a class where it has the actual learning of the positioning, what you're looking at, all the anatomy, the bones, the actual, pictures of it, and then you have the actual lab structure of it, where you kind of actually learn the fundamentals of your job and how to position people, which you do not expose in X-ray school. I mean, the machine can expose, but we don't expose people. Because, Alara. So, I would say, you learn, like all the textbook, you read all the details of what you see, because you're not technically supposed to read it, but like when a picture spawns in, or you shoot it, and you gotta look at it and be like, hey, is this gonna get me fired? Or, hey, does this show the most optimal images possible for the radiologist to be able to diagnose this person? Because that's the whole name of the game. So you still have to know the anatomy, both for boards and to know what you're looking at. So that is part of that. It's very important. So outside of the actual classwork, when you're in the lab, your teacher will literally sit down, depending on how they break it up. Ours, I believe our first thing was chest x-ray, because that's the bread and butter of your foundation of your whole career. And chest x-rays is I would say, where I work, 80% of my job. Other people who work maybe 50% because of what they do. Anyways, I would say that you learn how to do chest x-ray, and then I believe we did abdomens. It was like chest, abdomen, and pelvis? Or was it just chest, abdomen? No, I think it was just chest and abdomen. Yeah. They kind of walked us through. It was like chest, abdomen, and they had like the cube and the cube chest and all the chest and abdomens. I believe that's what it was. It was like standing, upper and lower, and then just like acute abdomen. There was like different ones, but essentially it was just chest and abdomen. And they'll break it down. You have one day, the teacher will walk you through, be like, hey, especially your first time ever being in there, she'll introduce you to oh, this is the x-ray machine, this is that, and then sometimes they have the year 2 students come in and just do they'll show you how they perform it, or sometimes the teacher themselves will walk you through an ideal walkie-talkie patient and how they perform the exams. So, they'll walk you through hey, my name's so-and-so, my name's Miguel, I do x-rays. I'll be doing your x-ray today. Can you name your name? The whole basic little spiel we do. And then you walk it through, and then they, position them, and then, they pretend expose and do the whole shebang right there. Sorry. And then later on, the teacher will sit down and actually show you, hey, okay, this is how you do a chest. This is how you do an abdomen. SID. Asking, patients pregnant. All the basic, stuff like that. And then from there, he'll go probably back to lab in the other clinical little section, and then they'll have images of these, like a KUB, a chest, you actually see the film, which ours had film, which is pretty cool. Some places don't. And then they'll explain to you the anatomy, what we see, or they'll show you pictures that aren't as optimal, maybe rotated, maybe different, different type of not good and you should repeat it, or how can this be fixed type situation. Go do that, and then essentially you'll run it through the whole semester, and you'll learn all the body parts. And then the skull, which is it's gonna take all your neurons to learn that one. You gotta learn every every single little hole, the beautiful skull. That one, it's quite a challenge. They broke it down to 2 different little segments because it was a lot of knowledge. The actual positioning isn't that bad now, thinking about it, but as far as like all the anatomy and stuff, it's a lot. So you do that, and then I believe like kind of on ours would call a show me, or the little test segment of each different anatomy. You go in. Ours, they had a little box or a little bag where they would put their hand in and they would draw out something. And it'd be like, oh, you pulled the chest, perform a chest x-ray, or perform a decubitus chest. Like, and then you'll go and like kind of perform it. Which that was the easy part. It's when you came out and then you were there with the teacher. And she would show you pictures of a chest x-ray. And then she'd be like, okay, what do we see here? And then you'd be like, oh, I see a chest. To have an optimal chest, you need 10 ribs, good inspiration. You should see the apices all the way to the claustrophrenic angles. You should see the sternoclavicular joints are equally intertwined. And yeah. And then those should and then fine trabecular markings for the hands, like other. I'm just naming the random stuff that I remember from like school that is important, or the fine lung markings, I believe. You have to do that, and then essentially you'll go and you'll swap with your partner, and they'll do whatever they do, and essentially you'll be the patient. You just sit there like you don't know nothing of X-rays, and then that will usually be like the lab part of it, and then the actual exam where unit test will be done more into the like actual school, like in the actual like facility of learning, like the actual classroom, not the lab work. But they'll both intertwine. Like the knowledge is, I would say to me, it's always easier doing like the lab stuff than the actual classwork. It's almost like you're learning the class is like learning how to do for boards, and the actual lab is how to do your job, which both have the knowledge to teach you how to do your job, except you can be book smart, but if you're not able to perform it, you're not going to be able to like hold the job. That's how I see it, because it's important to have, I would say, be better at the lab work and have that like really good, and then maybe if you're struggling with the actual like textbook and stuff, you would still probably end up being a better tech as far as actually doing your job. But like at the end of the day, you need a 75 to pass, and you should be well versed in both worlds. I would say I would be more of a lab and like a little bit lower on the actual like school like stuff. I was really good at performing and how to do X-rays, and even when we were on clinicals, I did pretty good out there, which that helped land me a job where I work at today. Yeah, it's been where we go. See you on the next one.